Fit to Love, episode 91, Motivating Yourself to Exercise.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Wellness Wednesdays. Today's show, Motivating Yourself to Exercise. Today's special guest, me. I did a podcast show last year. I was the guest on Kathy Alessandra's Today's Innovative Woman show on iTunes, and she interviewed me on motivating yourself to exercise for her community. And I was looking back through some of the past audios that I've done that I wanted to share with you, and I thought this was an appropriate show to put out now in January while everyone's thinking about exercise and weight loss and detoxing and changing your habits. And there are a few things on the show that I have spoken about before. If you're a regular listener of Fit to Love, some of this will be a good reminder. And there are a few new things that you have yet to hear me talk about. So I look forward to sharing today's show with you. Before we get that show started, though, I do want to thank our sponsors before we get started. Is your website working for you? If it's not, and you're frustrated with your brand, website, or current online results, Every Angle Media can help transform your existing business presence and build you a website that works when you're not working. Every Angle Media is a full-service web development firm that specializes in solving problems with open-source solutions. We offer complete design services, custom content management systems, fully integrated e-commerce solutions, cross-platform mobile development, and custom third-party integration, and we're here to help. Visit our site to see our work at everyanglemedia.com or give us a call at 310-798-7228. Again, that's everyanglemedia.com. Do you want to look and feel years younger? Learn more about your hormone health and how to get properly tested. Sign up for the Healthy Hormone Kit at nourishingwellness.com. It features the essential tests you need to tell your doctor to order for you to learn more about your current levels. Plus, you'll receive lots of healthy eating and lifestyle tips to improve your hormone health naturally. Again, that's www.nourishingwellness.com.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's show, Innovative Woman in Business. I'm Kathy Alessandra, your host and the publisher of today's Innovative Woman magazine. Now, today we have one of our experts, and it's JJ Flizanes. JJ is the director of Invisible Fitness, an Amazon bestselling author of Fit to Love, How to Get Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life, and author of NAC Absolute Abs, Routines for a Fit and Firm Core. JJ was named Best Personal Trainer in Los Angeles for 2007 by Elite Traveler magazine. She is a video expert for About.com, a regular contributor for The Daily Love, and has been featured in many national magazines such as Shape, Fitness, Muscle, and Fitness Hers, even Elegant Bride and Women's Health, as well as media channels, NBC, CBS, KTLA, and Fox 11. JJ's passion is transforming men and women's bodies and relationships through their fitness and self-care routines. And I've known JJ for many years now, and we've worked together on a variety of different levels, and I'm very excited to have her as a writer in the magazine and also to be featuring her here on our podcast show today. So welcome to the show, JJ.
Thanks, Kathy. Well, it's awesome and always a pleasure to be here and work with you and get the information out there and to be a part of today's Innovative Woman.
Absolutely. Well, we love having you a part of it. Why don't we jump right in about, our talk title today is Motivating Yourself to Exercise. And, I'm sure some of our listeners may experience some of the challenges that I do in motivating myself. So what are the biggest roadblocks to motivation?
I think the first roadblock is our conversation about time and our conversation about why. Let's just start with the why. I was having this discussion with a client of mine. She's a specialist, and I help her with her exercise, but I also help her clients with exercise as well. And so we get to sort of work with clients together from different angles and deal with the mental, emotional thought processing around getting an exercise and how to think about it, when to do it, and all the obstacles that come in on a day-to-day basis. And I think what I've determined recently with her and just by noticing people around me is that it depends on your why. Why are you exercising? Why do you want to be doing it? Because without the training of the mental processing of being able to talk to yourself in a way that gets you over that hurdle, then what we're doing is defaulting to the belief and defaulting to the habits and the patterns that we've been practicing for years. And so really getting clear about your why so that when you're sitting down to do something, or when you're looking at your schedule, or when you're cooking a meal and you're thinking about what you're going to choose, and the first thing that comes up is, oh, I really want that, or let's say with exercise, I don't want to do that. I'm tired. I don't have time. Stop and get connected to the reason why you said you wanted to do in the first place. Removing the shoulds, because shoulds never help us do anything. Why do you want to exercise? And then you can start answering the question for you. Well, I want to exercise, and I'll use me as an example. I want to exercise because I know that keeping high metabolism and keeping a good amount of muscle mass in my body gives me a greater ability to eat more calories and to not gain weight. And so if I have good muscle mass and a great metabolism, it's a high metabolism, then I can live more of what I consider like a normal life. I can treat myself every so often. I can play with the kinds of foods that I'm eating. I never feel deprived, which I really don't anyway. And I look great, and I'm staying within my caloric expenditure in terms of what my body needs, and I'm not going to be surprised about gaining weight because I haven't paid attention to that or because I've lost muscle mass. I want to exercise because I like the way I look. I like the way my body feels. I like being strong. I like having energy. And so in the moment when I'm telling myself I'm too tired, I have too much to do, connecting with my why and going through what it is I do want can help to motivate myself to create that space or just take some action and see, well, what can I do? Maybe I don't have an hour, but I have 15 minutes or I've got 10 minutes. I'm in the process of preparing a class for Arizona where it's doing 10-minute exercise routines in front of the TV because people will say, I don't have time to exercise. And I ask, do you watch television? And most people say yes. And so can you take 10 minutes, even if it's during commercial, and do some exercises? And I can create routines for that purpose of 10 minutes, get all different kinds of body parts in different days of the week, and there you have a 10-minute workout. While it may not be life-changing in the first couple weeks because it's not a lot of time, it gets you into the habit. It overcomes that mental idea that there's not enough time. So I'd say connecting with your why would be the first thing to do to get over the roadblock of the conversation you have in your head.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Because we're all going to have different whys, and as long as we're doing it for ourselves, I guess, that too. What are some easy tricks or tips that we can maybe use to motivate us instantly versus, I realize the why definitely has some of that, but any other?
So the why is a practical conversation. It's something that you practice because just like having two weights in your hands, one weight's a 5-pound in your right hand and a 10-pound in your left hand. If you do them both at the same time, you're going to get stronger in the left side because you have more weight there. So you're going to be better practiced at lifting more weight with that side. So it's the same thing with negative and positive conversations when it comes to the why. If the left hand is your negative conversations and the right hand is your positive conversations, if you're practicing the negative ones more often and you're giving the excuses, and not to say they're not valid excuses, but if you're always finding the reason not to do it, then it's going to take a little mental practice to start identifying that why and figuring out, well, why do you want to do it? And how long have you been doing this? And how long have you been uncomfortable? And how long have you been frustrated? And so is it 10 minutes worth overcoming that frustration to see some results and feel better and get the things you say that you want? That definitely is a practice. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it has to start somewhere. And being aware of it's the first step. Now, in terms of quick motivation, there's a couple different things that you can do. The first thing is having a vision board because something visual is definitely can be very stimulating. So whether it be a picture of yourself from years ago, I wouldn't go earlier than high school, especially depending on where you are in your life. Because generally when you graduated high school, and somewhere around that was probably one of the most active times in your life. And genetics happens, and aging happens, and hormone balancing and imbalancing and degeneration in your body happens. So some people think, oh, well, I want to look like this person, but they genetically never did. Like there was nowhere ever in your life did you ever look like that. So, and doesn't mean it's not possible, but it's not as probable as returning yourself back to a place that you've been before. So finding a picture of yourself to say, I did it then, I can do it now. that's a great place to start. If you don't have a picture, then finding pictures of people that are like your body type, or not even bodies. Just put a picture up of health, of vibrance, of happiness, of energy, of exercising in a beautiful setting or doing something that you really enjoy, like maybe dancing or swimming in the ocean or kickboxing or something that would evoke feelings of excitement in you. Try not to put up pictures that evoke any kind of guilt or shame or fear or conversations around why you can't do it. Only pick pictures that evoke positive emotions for you. So a vision board is definitely the first way you can look at it. Be in the picture. Most people do vision boards and they do them and then they put them away, or they hang them up and they never look at them again. To me, a vision board is like a treadmill. You can have it, but it doesn't work unless you use it. So you put the vision board up and you actually stand in front of it. I'm looking at mine as we speak. And you look at the picture and then you close your eyes and you visualize yourself in that picture, being that picture. And then for the reason of evoking positive, motivating emotions. And then that could be enough to get you to do your 10-minute routine or to go to the gym or meet your friend for a walk or do whatever it is that's in your plan. So vision board can be an effective way if pictures stimulate you and motivate you. Another great way is to keep around some of those magazines, like People Magazine does every year a story about people that have lost half their weight. It comes out in December, January. It's called Half Their Size. They do it every year. So buy one and read it. And focus on one at a time, because if those people can do it, so can you. And most of the time, the people that have gone through that are they're in a deficit that you may not be at. They've got a longer road ahead of them than maybe you have. So looking at them gives you proof that it's possible and shows you that someone else has already done it. Because a lot of times we surround ourselves, we're in our own little world, especially entrepreneurs who don't get out and talk with other people or see other people on a regular basis. So you forget that other people have the same struggles you do and have overcome them and have found a way to transform them and then beyond. So reading a story like that can be extremely motivating. A third tip, which I love to use, is video. And there's a couple different videos that I'll direct you to. The first one is called sickfatandnearlydead.com. And you can search it in Google because that might not be
Say that a little slower. What was it?
Fat and Nearly Dead.
Okay.
Yes, and the movie has a 3-minute trailer. I'll be honest and tell you that I haven't watched the whole movie. I haven't needed to. And even my husband watched just the trailer, and that inspired him to do 3 weeks of a detox last November. 3 weeks. Wow. He wanted the juice. By watching a 3-minute video, he wanted to do something very extreme. That 3 minutes can be enough to motivate you. So if the vision board isn't working or reading isn't working, watch sickfatandnearlydead.com, just the trailer. If you want to watch the whole movie, go for it, but you just need the trailer. Now, there's also another independent movie called Hungry for Change, and that website's hungryforchange.tv. And that trailer, I have the whole movie, I bought the movie. But that movie as well might be enough to get you to feel motivated to make some different choices. So try one of those, sickfatandnearlydead.com or hungryforchange.tv and see. And you can just also shop around for other trailers. Watch a short little video. Those are pretty powerful, and they can help.
Let me ask you this, because I know there's a popular TV show that many people, I hear, did you watch? I'm not even sure whether I should say the name of it or not.
Why not? Why not? Let's just say it. The Biggest Loser. Call it what it is. The Biggest Loser.
Right. And so, some people are like, oh, that really motivates me. Oh, the success story. What are your thoughts on watching something like that?
I say no.
It seems a little unrealistic, quite frankly.
It is. First of all, let's burst the bubble. That show is entertainment. It's not education. It's entertainment first. So what they do, because I've worked with 2 of the hosts of the show, and I will tell you that show is not accurately depicted in terms of its timing. So it may be between week 1 and week 2, and you think it's been a week because that's when it airs. It's actually been 4 weeks. So they only air the best of what they have, and they air it in the sequential order from whenever they edit and put the show together. So it may be 2 weeks span of time or maybe 3 or 4 weeks span of time, depending on how long it took the participants to lose the weight and for them to get the most dramatic results. So it's not accurate. It's not accurate, number one. Number two, these people are doing nothing but exercising and not eating. Mm-hmm. So unless that's your life right now, it isn't going to have to apply to you because you're going to end up feeling badly. How come I can't lose 10 pounds in a week? They lost 10 pounds in a week. How come I can't lose 10 pounds in a week? Because it wasn't really a week, number one. Number two, I know people who've been on the show, and most of them come out with eating disorders. It's not a healthy show. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy show. There's a lot to it and there's other tricks that have happened that I'm not going to mention, that I'm not going to recommend that are healthy for you. So I hate to burst your bubble. It's entertaining. And if it does motivate you and you want to continue to watch it, that's fine. But just don't hold yourself up to the standard that they show and think that that's realistic, because it's not. They're not showing you a lot. They're really just not. They're keeping a lot under the table because it's not supposed to be educational. It's entertaining.
Well, and that's a good piece right there, because the idea of being able to lose 10 or 15 or 20 pounds in 1 week just doesn't even seem fathomable. And I think that's a good thing to point out to everybody, who might be listening to this call, that that's just not even really possible. Granted, sometimes you'll go on a diet or whatever and you'll lose like 5 pounds in 2 days because of the water weight or whatever, but
right. Well, and so to give you an example, right, I just completed a detox in October, and I'm going to be doing one again here shortly. So if you're interested, contact me and let me know. It'll probably be February or March that I do this detox. But I did a detox back in October of last year, and a couple of the women on the detox lost 4 pounds in a couple days, like the first 2 or 3 days. And again, it was water weight. It's still accurate. It's still weight, but it's not fat.
Right.
And it was real because they had too much inflammation going on. So there's reasons why, yes, you can lose a lot of weight up front, but that doesn't mean it's going to keep happening week after week without monitoring, without exercise. I mean, it just depends. I've got a gentleman who, we were coaching for about 2 months last year. He had a goal to meet. He wanted to lose 50 pounds in a couple months. He lost 21 in the first 6 weeks we're working together because I put him for the first 3 weeks on an anti-inflammatory diet, a detox. It lasted for 3 weeks, and he lost 11 pounds in the first 2 or 3 weeks. So, and they lost another 10 pounds. So, it is possible, but he started out in the 300s. Depending on where you are and what the difference is between what you're doing now and then what you move towards. So if you do a detox and it's really different than the way you eat right now, and you've got a lot of inflammation, and we put you on an anti-inflammatory detox, yes, it's possible for you to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Whether you keep it off or not is going to be dependent on whether or not you add in exercise and keep it there, whether or not, how much you adjust your diet after that. So there's many factors. It is possible, but to lose 10 pounds every week for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, no, not unless you're doing nothing else but exercising and starving yourself.
Right. Well, speaking of exercising, should we be exercising every day?
Not necessarily. There's many ways to slice getting in movement. Should you move every day? For your own health and well-being and energy level and blood circulation, sure. But it can vary. It doesn't have to be exercise every day. I have lived all different kinds of exercise lifestyles. There's been my favorite, which I really kind of want to go back to, is when one of my best friends did still live here, and she and I would do a circuit training program together at the beach, and it would be resistance training and some cardio, and it would be about an hour and a half twice a week. So I did 3 hours of exercise in 2 days, and then I'd add in some dancing or rollerblading or running at least one more day. So I was getting in 4 hours of exercise in 3 days. And that's great because that's doable. I can make that happen over and over again. The problem sometimes with people breaking it into small chunks is that if you miss a day and you've given yourself a goal that's too high, if you say, I'm going to do 30 minutes of exercise every day, and then the first week you don't do it, you feel bad. You set yourself up to fail, and then it backfires on you. So really you have to work with your own psychology and what motivates you. If you have a 9-to-5 job and you're really busy and there's no way you're going to get in an hour of exercise, and an hour isn't even a magic number, but some people think it is. So let's say you're not even going to get in 40 minutes of exercise 4 days a week. There's no reason why you can't do it in 2 days. And again, it's always a progression from where you are to where you want to be. If you're not doing anything right now, getting in 30 minutes to an hour a week is a step in the right direction. Don't set yourself up to fail by committing to something that's not going to work into your lifestyle. And look back at your pattern. This is the most important thing. Every year you do the same thing. This is why we're doing this now in January. My business has been for 15 years that people get motivated in January to do it on their own. And then that's what happens in the gyms. The gyms are packed the first 2 months of the year. But then when people don't get the results that they want, or they stop being motivated because what they're doing isn't working, or it doesn't fit into their schedule, or they've overcommitted themselves to a program they're never really going to do, then come end of February, I start getting all the calls. Okay, I need help now. Or March. Because they've already fallen off the wagon because, again, that's that Albert Einstein quote that you can't solve the problem with the same mind that created it. So we have to change the mindset. We have to change the plan. We have to change the way you're doing things because you're just repeating bad patterns over and over again, and you're being insane, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Why do you think it's going to be different this year to go to the gym and think you're going to do it on your own after you've tried for 10 years? Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe you'll be the small percentage of people that actually has a new plan or figures it out on your own. But I'm just wanting to encourage you to not wait until end of February or March if you've done this many, many times in the past, only to come up no different. Maybe it's time to do something different.
Right, right. So what is the best time, you think, to be exercising?
Best time is when you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I know most people say it's the morning, but I mean, even as a trainer, training people in the gym in New York City years ago, I did that too. I had clients in the morning. I still am the busiest in the morning. My mornings are booked. So for me to say I can only exercise in the morning or that's the best time and if I don't do it, it's not worth it is ridiculous. And for a while, it kept me from doing it. And then I thought, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? So I set up accountability and to have workouts in the middle of the day, to be doing it in the evenings, after work is over, in between clients. So you do it when you're going to do it. Yes, most people think that the morning is a great time. It is a great time. If you have the luxury in your schedule to get it done in the morning because you have no other commitment before 8 a.m., then do it in the morning because it will set the tone for your day. It will clear your head. It will use up any anxiety or energy. It will help you be calmer in your day. But if you don't have that time, that doesn't mean you don't do it. You just find another time. And it may be harder as the day goes on, but then you find other ways to do it. You commit to a class or you commit to a friend or you carve out time in your schedule for a trainer or a coaching call. So you make the time. There is no best time.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things, too, looking at myself, it's, for me to get up in the morning and put my sweats on and commit to doing it, whatever I'm going to do first thing, early in the morning because I'm one who I want to take a shower, I want to get dressed for the day and even if I'm recording radio shows like this, I don't like to be sitting around in my sweats doing that. I prefer to have gotten ready, put my makeup on, be dressed. And so for me, if I do, how many times have I put the sweats on and I think, I'll go at lunch, and then I get totally absorbed in what I'm doing with work too. It's another one, and I think I'm going to go, and I don't. So I think for me, it is that morning thing seems to be an easier way of it. But then again, I'm not going to get up at 5 a.m. and do it either. So you're right. We need to work with our own bodies and mindsets and all of that, right?
And I think that the other thing is, if you get up and you have the intention to do it in the morning and you don't because you get caught up doing something, then you figure out a time that you can carve out something. So for instance, this podcast, this is a great way for people to multitask, especially business owners. If you have a lot of recordings of things that you want to listen to, do your exercises as you're listening to them. Put the mat down, this is what I do, put the mat down in your office and have the computer on when your speaker's loud and do your exercises while you're listening to the podcast. Especially women, I know you can multitask, so don't act like you can't. That's what we're good at. So multitask the exercise with listening to a podcast. And because you have the recording, you can listen to it again if you want to take some notes. Or if it's an hour podcast, do your exercises in the first 20 minutes when they're doing the introductions. And then come back to your seat and take some notes for the rest of it and more of the meat and potatoes of the interview versus in the beginning we're just going to get the welcome and here's the author's bio or the speaker's bio and, you get all that.
Perfect. Well, is there a formula for getting results with exercise?
Absolutely. There is nothing random about it, but too many people I love when I hear, I tried exercise, doesn't work. And I say, it's because you're not doing it right. Or it used to work. I used to walk. I walked 3 days a week for an hour, and I lost 5 or 7 pounds, and then it stopped working, and now I'm at a plateau, and I don't know what to do. Yes, there's absolutely a formula that I teach people. It's too long to go over on this call, but it's basically looking at your frequency. It's called the FIT principle, frequency, intensity, time, and type. I know you've seen me do this at the Success Summit as well as in person and talk about it on other calls, but it's a whole process, and that's the formula that I use with people when I work with them individually and when I'm speaking on stage at an event or doing a longer podcast or teleseminar. But you basically look at all the factors, the frequency, intensity, time, and type of both your cardiovascular exercises and your resistance training, and you look at what you're doing now, and you write it all out, and you ask yourself, is it working? And did it used to work? And did it stop working? Did it ever work? And then, because I get a lot of people who are very diligent with their exercise, they're very committed. They do the same thing all the time, and then they wonder why nothing's changing. So I've got many clients that they'll give me their full report about exactly what they do. They're very proud of their commitment to themselves, and they carve out time every day or every week to do their exercises. And then, of course, I'll ask, okay, how long have you been doing this program? Just like this. And they'll tell me, 5 years. And so here's the thing about that. You already, the great news is you already carve out the time, you're already committed. Perfect. It's already in your lifestyle. Here's the adjustment that needs to take place. As you add exercise into your life, wherever you're starting from, your body adapts. It adapts into what it needs to be, either thinner, fitter, smaller, tighter, faster, leaner, whatever. It adapts into being able to be better at executing those exercises. But once you adapt, and that's where you lose weight, you change your body, once you adapt, you then get more proficient and efficient at doing these exercises in this whatever program you're putting your body through. So therefore, you're not getting the same results anymore because you're now good at it. So in order for you to get more results, you have to create something different or change the frequency, intensity, time, or type, or all of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them, depending on your lifestyle, depending on a lot of different factors. So that's how you can monitor, well, when you start to plateau, what can I adjust about this program? And it doesn't have to be everything, but too often people start exercise, they get the results initially, then they plateau, and then they get frustrated. And they don't know where to go from there, so they jump from what they're doing into something else completely. Well, maybe I'll try kickboxing now. Maybe I'll try Pilates. And not all exercise is going to get you the same results. Yoga and Pilates are not exercises that are great on building muscle or on burning calories. So you may get some weight loss initially, but long term, it's not going to continue to build you the muscle, increase your metabolism that you did, when you had the first curve of adaptation from starting point till whenever your body adapted to be able to execute it more efficiently. Without the plan, without the structure, you're not monitoring your progression, so you don't know when it's time to change, and then you get really frustrated. So without the formula, I understand why some people spin their wheels and just keep trying all these different things and think that one thing is going to work forever. It's not. But the good news is when you put the plan together, you make smart strategic choices versus random, emotional reactive choices. And it's really cool. It's a really scientific way to track and monitor and get more results.
Mm-hmm. That is so, that just ding, the frequency, intensity, time, and type, that just makes such sense because we think we're doing something and then, like you said, 3 years later I'm doing the same darn thing, not to mention the boredom factor that goes along with doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then I think also there's some exercises, obviously, right, where the cardio is going to be more and, whereas yoga isn't necessarily that way, and so you're not going to burn calories as fast and blah, 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 and that's where a trainer and that kind of thing would help in helping somebody figure out what their goals are and then what exercises are best, right?
Right, and I'm not saying that Pilates and yoga aren't good exercises to do. They have their purposes, they have their reasons, they have the results. If you're someone who's got an injury, let's say you're someone who has had knee surgery, you have back problems, you have a lot of weight to lose, you're really out of shape, so maybe laying on the reformer and doing reformer Pilates is a great way to start to give you more mobility and to build a little bit of strength that way. And so there's reasons to do all things, but the point is knowing the science behind what you expect to get from said exercise. What are the risks and benefits, and how do I create this to create a good foundation and then monitor it as I start to progress, as I start to adapt, so I can continue every step of the way to keep getting results.
Right. Okay, love that. Well, we are getting close to the end of our time together, and I'm sure there's some people thinking, okay, I'm ready, it's time, it's the front of the year, I need to really make this a permanent change in my life. So if somebody wants to connect with you further and get some information about programs you offer, that kind of thing, where can they go?
So invisiblefitness.com is my main fitness company website. So again, that's invisiblefitness.com, INVISIBLE, fitness.com. And even on the site, actually, there's a 30-day jumpstart program. That's a great place to start. It's free download. There's 6 audio tracks and a workbook. And in the workbook, it can guide you through kind of putting some of this program together, as well as there's even exercises in the workbook, in the back of the book, that you could try and follow. Now, it's not the best, it's not the most efficient way, especially, again, if you've been trying things for a long period of time and nothing's really working and you're just really frustrated. Reading something, listening to all this, and doing it on your own may sound like more work than you're willing to give. So I'd love to offer any of you who are listening right now 50% off in initial consultation, whether that be in person, on the phone, or Skype. I work with clients all over the country on Skype, doing literally personal training on Skype. and on the phone doing phone coaching, as well as in person if you live locally in Los Angeles, Orange County, or surrounding areas. So 50% off of all those consultations is enough to at least do an analysis of what you're doing and give you a plan. So even if there's nothing else that happens after that, you'll at least have an idea of a direction. You'll have a plan. You'll know what you're supposed to be doing, and then you can set out and do it.
Fantastic. Okay. So they can reach you through invisiblefitness.com.
So info@invisiblefitness.com, and then just in the subject line say, put TIW initial consult offer 50% off or something like that. I mean, you can put it in the body of the email, but you won't get it unless you tell me that you heard it from me here, because I'm not going to publicize it. This is only for readers of Today's Innovative Woman. So again, 50% off, and I will honor that through the end of January. January 31st is the cutoff. So
awesome.
Rather than stay frustrated, pick up the phone, and you'll get 50% off the initial consultation. I'll give you an hour to an hour and a half, depending on if it's in person or over the phone or Skype, and we will work it out and create a plan for you so you can be successful in not only implementing exercise back into your life on a regular basis, but getting the results that you're seeking.
Right. Well, thank you for that special offer for our listeners. Appreciate that. So I end all of our interviews with, what makes you an innovative woman?
What makes me an innovative woman is that I'm an amazing problem solver, and that I use both my left and right side of my brain to create and find ways, new ways, all the time, new ways of communicating very simple ideas that I think get people stuck. I have taken fitness as the foundation and added to that emotion and mindset. So everything that has to do with joints, all up into how we think and how we process emotion and how we problem solve, all of these things. I wrote a book called Fit to Love, How to Get Physically, Emotionally, Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life. And it's the integration of all of the invisible parts that create the whole. The integration is the key. So I'm always looking for new ways to communicate, create products and programs, and work with people to integrate all of these different aspects of your life to get you the results that you want, and not take one piece at a time, because no one piece operates alone. It is totally affected by everything. It's a whole. We live as a whole person. We're not just a business person or a woman or a wife or a mother it's everything together.
That is so true. And you are an innovative woman, JJ. That is for sure. So again, JJ, thank you for being with us today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Do you commit to an exercise program every year and then give up within the first 60 days? Are you ready to be accountable to yourself and uncover the personalized changes that will work for you long term? Consider the 30-day Jumpstart program. Visit the products page on fit2love.tv to get started today. The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If this show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fit2love.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT2LOVE.tv. Have a fit and fabulous day.